Taylor's critique on Macbeth. Take 3.
The play Macbeth by William Shakespeare is one of the most widely known plays to date, possibly due to the urban legend regarding its name. It was such a popular play that it warranted movie production in 1971. Director Roman Polanski did a fascinating job staying true to the script, but he also added some extra points to the film that we cannot assume while reading the script of the play. This comparison will look over some of the more significant choices made by Polanski compared to what we are given by the script of the play. Our first point is the murder of King Duncan in the first act of the play and one of the first chapters of the movie. In the play, Macbeth is told by his wife, Lady Macbeth, that Duncan's guards have been drugged, and hear Macbeth mention that the deed has been done. In the film, Polanski added an extra scene where Macbeth passes by the drug guards and enters Duncan's room. We have a close-up as Macbeth stares at Duncan, then the camera flips to show Duncan's face right as his eyes flutter open. He watches Macbeth for a moment in confused fear before uttering his name and opening his mouth to scream. Macbeth stabs him, and we are shown his crown as it topples off of its resting place and onto the ground. We are given none of this when reading the play, and therefore we have no symbolic representation for Duncan losing his kinghood. The grisly scene adds much that the play did not give. In the play, the murder of Lady Macduff is also done off-screen, though the murder of her child is not. In the film, while the murder is technically still done off-screen, we are given a much more vivid representation of what is happening in the Macduff castle. We are given generous amounts of blood and a grisly scene of everything burning and servants being murdered among other such things. This takes the sense of despair that Lady Macduff would have been feeling at that point in the play and gives it to us as well as we watch the Macduff castle burn. Lady Macbeth's death in the film gives an interesting portrayal of Macbeth. When he finds out his wife has died in the play, readers often assume his response came quickly and cold-hearted when he replied with, "She should have died hereafter," while the film's recreation of that scene adds a pause and a bit of a voice crack with the actual line. It makes Macbeth seem much more human than he did in the actual play. My final point to make on the differences, simply added because I love the portrayal of his character in the film, is the largely different role that Ross played. Where in the play any involvement he has is purely up to theorization, in the film definitively shows him as a sort of right-hand man to Macbeth's tyranny. He eventually betrays Macbeth after most other nobles, unlike in the play when he is assumed to betray him with the others. The film only has him turn on Macbeth after Macbeth gives away the title of the Thane of Unnamed City to a random noble instead of Ross, after everything Ross had done for him. This view of Ross is one I absolutely adore in the film and wish had come up more prominently in the play itself. All in all, I enjoyed both the play and the movie thoroughly, but there are things that a movie can provide that a text just can't even compare with. So in my opinion, Macbeth as a film beats the play all the way to the depths of Tartarus, for its added explanation and conclusiveness that, in the play's hands, just asked more questions than it could answer.
So, would you say that reading the text of the play requires a little bit more intelligence because you need to actually interpret it and you need to have the right amount of intelligence to understand what's happening, whereas the movie just lays it all out for you and you don't really need that intelligence to understand it?
I wouldn't necessarily say intelligence. I would say more along the lines of creativity. Your mind needs to be able to wander more to drop these conclusions.
All right then.